Blessed be. Today is August 9th, and it's Holding Hands Day, an awareness holiday to emphasize the importance of human touch and our need to show affection to one another, our partners, our friends, family. Culturally in America, it's not common for friends to walk around holding hands. But I do believe, to my understanding, in other parts of the world, it is very commonplace for young peers to walk around and have that physical connection with just a platonic partner. I got to admit, I'm a little jealous because that human touch releases, the nice positive chemicals in our brains and really makes us really, feel like we belong with the people we're with. And in my opinion, that's an important emotion we should foster. Today at work, I facilitated my team meeting where I kind of presented the start of a tiny title block. This is the version for our salespeople to use for these little snapshots of our systems. So it might be an elevation that shows a couple of components. And this way it's that nice visual representation to what you're selling them. This particular piece has about 5 pieces, and here's how it kind of looks in the space. And the title block review is like, what kind of information do we want on there? It's not job specific, so there will be nothing like that. But we'll have a name and space for a description. I was like, do we want to date these and have revision numbers? And we can definitely kind of track variations that are out in the world. If we know we've got a second revision of a detail and somebody's still using the first one, it's much easier to identify. So that was the feedback I received today, and then I spent my afternoon doing a productive push and producing the actual title block for review to see if it all works out. I went through, measured everything. I've got this much space at the bottom, and I'm big on precision with my spacing. So I might take my line and divide it into thirds and see if I can line that up. Same thing. So then inside that section in the middle, I've got 2 sections, and it's like that bottom one. Divide that into thirds. And it's like, but I only need 2/3 for this and 1/3 for that. So kind of fun. It's messing around with the map. It's creating a puzzle for me. So what pieces need to be in there, and now I get to kind of Lego it together and make it look good. Once we know it looks good, I'm going to present this to sales, the people who will actually use these drawings to present and get their feedback. I don't want to ask them blindly what they're interested in. I think I can get more precise information when you have something to show and then ask them to modify it for their use. What would you change about this, as opposed to that blind, what do you want? That's vague and too general. So like when we were doing our master title block with my peers, I didn't ask, what do you want and not want in a title block? I had collected various samples that our department had used and kind of lined them up. I'm like, well, and they were all different. And I was like, here's this and here's that. What do we like? Because if you've seen title blocks in companies where they repeatedly don't use certain fields within these title blocks, and they're never going to, it's just not with the way their processes work. It's like, well, why don't you modify the title block to remove these blank areas and just get a cleaner look. And company, unless somebody's mindfully paid to keep up on this, and it's really hard to facilitate change at a company level. But on occasion, you should really look at what you got going and clean it up a bit. But that's my opinion, because I like things neat, tidy, precise. All my fonts are very specifically sized. I paid attention to what my justification is for how I want the text to travel as it gets modified. Spacing from how far it is to the left and down away from the lines, it's all mathematically calculated based on design criteria, based on the size of the font. And it's just been really fun to kind of all the pieces together. Hopefully they'll like it, and feedback will be smooth, and I can get another title block out the door. Success! If you'd like to hear more entries into the CAD Witch's Grimoire, don't forget to hit subscribe. And until next time, merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again.